HowExpert! Top 10 Oil Painting Tips. HowExpert publishes quick how-to guides on all topics from A to Z by everyday experts. Visit HowExpert.com to learn more. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more HowExpert Top 10 videos in the future. Moving on, let's talk about the HowExpert Top 10 Oil Painting Tips. 10. Understand your artistic level. Whether you are new to oil painting or have had some experience with this medium, it's essential to be mindful of your artistic levels. You can't expect to dive right into oil painting and become an expert. It takes time and practice. If you find yourself having unrealistic expectations, this will only lead to your frustration with the medium. You don't want this to lead to unfinished and abandoned projects. Also, this will help you figure out what kinds of tools and paints to use with your projects. If you're a beginner, it's probably not a good idea to buy the $40 bottles of paint at the store. 9. Carefully select your solvents. Oil paint is not water-soluble, so you'll need to use a solvent to thin the paint, making it easier to work with, as oil paint is exceptionally thick. Sadly, the most compatible solvent, turpentine, is extremely toxic and releases harsh fumes. It's distilled from pine trees and has been used by artists for hundreds of years to create beautiful oil paintings. Another option that you can use to thin your oil paints is odorless mineral spirits. This petroleum distillate is way less toxic than turpentine, but you should still use caution when working with this material. Sadly, it's less effective at thinning the oil paints than turpentine, which is why many artists do not use it. If you decide to use OMS, you should mix it with other drying oils such as sunflower, walnut, or linseed, as they can help keep the paint films strong and flexible to prevent cracking. If you want to explore a more natural product to thin your oil paints, you should consider using spike lavender oil. It's non-toxic and non-carcinogenic, and it's incredibly effective at thinning oil paints and creating a beautiful product. Also, it smells way better than the other leading solvents. Sadly, there is a catch. It's way more expensive than other products, and it dries very slowly. 8. Protective clothing and precautions. Before setting up your painting station, make sure you're in an area with ample ventilation. Since toxic chemicals are often used in oil painting techniques, you'll want to make sure that you're in a room with lots of open windows. Make sure you wear gloves when working with oil paints and toxic chemicals that can seep into your skin. Lastly, if you don't want to stain your clothes, make sure you put aside a special pair of painting clothes or wear a smock. 7. Carefully select your tools. It's equally important to choose your painting tools carefully. When working with oil paints, you should look for brushes made with hog hairs or synthetic fibers. Oil painting brushes made from synthetic fibers or hog hairs come in various shapes and sizes that you can use to execute and alter the details of your paintings. It's a good idea to have an assortment of filbert, round, linear, angular, soft, flat, fan, and bright brushes. Look for brushes with long handles, as these are specifically made for oil paintings so the artist can sit further away from the canvas. Also, it would be best if you consider using palette knives to create your oil paintings. While palette knives are typically used to mix paints, you can also use them for canvas applications. They can create different depths and textures on your canvas and are a fun tool to use if you want a break from the precision of a brush. 6. Take care of your brushes. If you want something to last, you've got to treat it with care. After painting, you'll want to clean your brushes right away to avoid caking and drying. To clean your brushes, you'll need to use a solvent, such as the ones previously listed. You'll also want to get a brush washer at the store or online, as they can help safely clean your brushes. After your brushes have been cleaned, wipe them on a paper towel to remove additional residue. Don't forget to wear gloves and have proper ventilation during this process. When drying your brushes, leave them facing up in an open area. If the bristles lean against an object while drying, this will cause them to bend, and they'll become difficult to paint with. When your brushes are completely dry, you can store them in a carrying case. Lastly, if you notice that your hog-haired brushes are getting a bit messy, give them a good haircut to keep the edges crisp and clean. However, you may want to leave them in their chaotic states, as these can create unique and interesting textures in your paintings. 5. Lean too thick. How you layer your oil paints are important. It would help if you began with thin wash layers of oil paint mixed with solvents, and each progressive layer should have gradually less turpentine. You can add oil-based mediums to your final layers, which will help prevent the paint from cracking over time. 4. Keep it simple. It's easy to get carried away when mixing paint colors. There are just so many possibilities. However, it's best always to keep things simple when mixing oil color paints. Start by mixing only 2 colors in small amounts and make adjustments from there. You don't want to end up with a big glob of unflattering color. 3. Practice the same piece. Let go of the idea that you always have to create a revolutionary new masterpiece. Artist's block is a real thing, and it can eat away at your self-esteem. So, a great solution to this is to paint the same thing over and over again. Choose a subject and practice how to paint it multiple times. It can be a vase, a still life, a dog, anything. This will give you a break from having to make a creative choice all of the time, and it can relieve anxiety, help you relax, and eventually open up those creative juices. 2. Take a breather. Unless you are on a tight deadline, you don't have to push yourself every single day. Besides the fact that oil paints take forever to dry, you shouldn't try to rush your artwork. I know it's difficult when you have that perfect vision in your head and want to get it on canvas. However, if you take your time, you can truly reflect on your artwork and make appropriate adjustments along the way. If you're ever worried about losing an idea, consider getting a sketchbook and jot down a quick outline of your future painting plans. 1. Let go of fear. Sometimes we let our fear of failure hold us back. It can hold us back from starting a new project we're excited about, or hold us back from trying a new, more expensive brand of paint. Either way, our fear of failure should have no place in the art world. Focus on being vulnerable, optimistic, and adventurous. You won't regret it. If you liked our video, be sure to click like and subscribe for more How to Expert Top 10 videos for all topics from A to Z in the future. Also, let us know what other topics you want us to do a HowExpert Top 10 video in the future in the comments below. Thank you. Have an amazing day and take care. HowExpert publishes quick how-to guides on all topics from A to Z by everyday experts. Visit HowExpert.com to learn more.